It's the fastest 2 minutes in sports and one of the hottest tickets to get each year, the Kentucky Derby. If you're one of the millions of Americans who love to watch the Derby but can't make it in person, our next guest is going to show you how to host a project and authentic Kentucky Derby watch party. Melissa Rift is a whiskey expert who knows a thing or two about the Derby experience, and she's joining us live from Old Forester Distillery in Louisville to help us out. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You got it. What is your favorite thing about the Kentucky Derby each year?
Well, as a local Louisvillian, I love being able to host people from all over the world and really showcase what makes our city great, whether it's the food, the bourbon, the fashion, the hospitality. It's just wonderful to kick off spring with this huge festival and allow people to really fall into what we love about our city.
Now, after the big hats and the big crazy fun color dresses, you think about the mint julep. How did that really kind of become the official drink of the Derby, and how do we go about creating the perfect and most authentic julep at home?
Well, the history of the mint julep is actually really interesting, and it predates the 149 years that we've been running the Kentucky Derby, but it's always had a long relationship with the horse racing industry. Whether it's folks working at the horse farms or on the backside of the track, drinking a julep as a restorative in the morning, waking them up, soothing their aches and pains from the day's work before. Also, pewter and silver julep cups used to be used historically as trophies for winning jockeys at the races. So a long relationship between the two, but in 1939 was officially made the drink of the Kentucky Derby. And to make a perfect mint julep, we've got all the ingredients here. It's a super simple cocktail, and my favorite part of it is you build it right in the glass. So we're gonna start with simple syrup. You can use just sugar and water and mix it at the bottom of your glass, but I like to use a 1-to-1 ratio on simple syrup and put 3/4 ounces right there in your glass. Next, you're going to top it with about 8 to 10 mint leaves, and you want to muddle those to express those oils. Now, the important part here is you don't want to over muddle. You just want to bruise your mint without shredding it, because that will express more bitter flavors. So just lightly bruising it is going to give you the nice aromatics you want from that mint. And then last but not least, my favorite ingredient, 2 ounces of Old Forester 86 proof right there on the top. Now, the thing about the mint julep is it's meant to be refreshing. So you want to get it nice and cold. We're going to take just a little bit of crushed ice and swizzle it with our spoon, and then top the rest of that drink with even more crushed ice. This is going to make it really refreshing on those hot days at the track. If you like a classic julep, this is the perfect way to make it. But if you're going for something a little bit different this year, we are featuring a French julep, which is our black raspberry take on the classic. By just adding a little float of Chambord on the top, it's going to transform it into a whole new drink. And then last but not least, we take our sprig of mint, slap it on the back of your hand to express those oils, garnish your drink, and you've made the perfect julep. Just remember to drink responsibly.
Melissa, that looks so good. That was such a good job. Now that we know what we're going to be drinking, what else do we need to have the perfect Derby watch party?
Well, if you're watching the Derby and you have great drinks, you also have to have good food. And there are a lot of traditional foods that go into the running of the Kentucky Derby, but a couple of my favorites are pimento cheese and Benedictine. Both can be used as a spread on sandwiches. I like to serve them with crackers and pretzels as a dip. And then for your dessert station, of course, your Derby pie, pecan and chocolate. Just let people know it's Derby season. In addition to the food, it's really fun to encourage people to dress up with Derby style. It's a great way for people to show their own flair, use bright colors, those big hats you mentioned, and really just lets everybody put their own spin on Derby fashion. And then last but not least, giving people something to root for, whether it's picking their favorite horse by name, favorite jockey silk, or when I was growing up, my parents used to cut the roster out of the local paper and put it in a bowl, and we'd all draw names. Just something to get everybody cheering for that fastest 2 minutes in sports, hoping that their horse crosses the finish line.
Nothing more exciting than finding the random horse and just, go, go. It's so fun, and it is so fast. Before I let you go, because you are a whiskey expert, what are your tips for picking the perfect whiskey? Any certain flavors we should be looking for?
When picking the perfect whiskey for you, I always think it's all about finding the flavor profiles that you gravitate towards. So it's really easy to start with broad categories. Do you like whiskey with more spice? Do you gravitate towards more fruit-forward flavors? Do you like things that are more desserty and confectionery? And once you can hone in the flavor profile that you like, you can start to look for whiskeys that express that. One of my favorite things about Old Forester is we have a large portfolio with lots of different expressions with different flavor profiles. So always something for someone to find in our Old Forester portfolio. And you can learn more about that at oldforester.com, as well as more tips for hosting the perfect Derby party.
You made it easy for us. It's going to be right around the corner. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you. Happy Derby. Cheers.
Yes.